afternoon, beautiful people. Welcome in for another edition of The Purpose Life, right? Shout out to the transition, the change from the single life to the purpose life. And I'll break that down again for you in just a minute. But welcome in wherever you are in your day, your work schedule, whatever. You all know I always tell you, and if I miss an opportunity, I apologize, but just know it is always my thought. I absolutely appreciate you all from the bottom of my heart for your continued support. Just checking in and locking in each and every Monday, whether it's this platform or the other, like just making sure you're here so we can grow and engage and build with one another and build community, which is most important in the body of Christ, is getting back to building that communal space, right? That community for us. So let's get into it, man. You know, we are here. It's the purpose life, no longer the single life, because you cannot, how are you? You cannot, and how are you single if you have God? How could you be single? You got God. You're not single. You have God. You and God, you're not single, right? So no longer the single life, only the purpose life, all right? And if you need a deeper definition of that, go back like a couple of episodes ago. We really broke that all the way down. But listen, I got a lot to cover today, and hopefully I can finish my notes because I want to. I really want to, right? So let's get into it. What's up? What's up? How's everybody doing? Hope you guys are good. Yes, good afternoon. All right, so let's get into it. You guys know we've been working under the subheading of the purpose life, His glory, right? The purpose life, His glory. It's not about me. It's not about you. It's not about us. It is about His glory, God's glory, right? That's the purpose. So quick definition for those of you that, first time hopping on. Purpose is the reason for which something is done, created, or for which something exists. Think about that. Purpose is the reason for which something is done or created or for which something exists. So when we speak on purpose, you've got to understand you were never created for your purpose. Whatever purpose that you put on your life, whatever purpose that you created and said, this is me, that is not why you were created. You were created for God's purpose for you, right? Don't worry, we're going to break that down. Now think about this. File this away in your mind. My purpose in life is to bring God glory. Agreed, right? Agreed. My purpose in life is to bring God's glory. Here's the B side of that. Not to satisfy or attain titles that I feel will empower or complete me, right? Think about that. Think about that. That's not my purpose, all right? That's not my purpose. Purpose is greater than my personal satisfaction. Purpose is greater than my personal satisfaction. Purpose is greater than that. What does that mean? Like, your purpose has to be higher than what you feel. Your purpose has to be higher in your eyes than what you think, than what you desire, than what you like and what you dislike. Your purpose has to exist in this stratosphere above that. My service to God is my satisfaction. My service to God is my satisfaction. My calling being fulfilled is the finish line, right? We're not here for the finish line to be like, oh man, when I achieve this great level of wealth, or when I move in this neighborhood, or when I do this, that's the finish line. No, the finish line is fulfilling the purpose that God has placed on your life. That is the finish line. That's the goal that we strive for. That's the mission that we're chasing. It's not about me. It's about my purpose being fulfilled. All right, so let's look at it. I want you to think about this. All right, let's look at Deuteronomy 3:26 through 28. Deuteronomy 3, verses 26 through 28. Here we go. Deuteronomy 3. My bad, y'all. Yeah, here we go. All right. Deuteronomy 3, verses 26 through 28. Talking about purpose now. Talking about purpose. And purpose being greater than personal satisfaction, okay? Deuteronomy verse 3:26. But the Lord was angry with me because of you, and he would not listen to me. That's enough, he declared. Speak of it no more. But go up to Pisgah Peak and look over the land in every direction. Take a good look, but you may not cross the Jordan River. Instead, commission Joshua, encourage him, and strengthen him, for he will lead the people across the Jordan. He will give them the land you now see before you as their possession. So, yeah, as for your possession. Boom. Yeah, I was about to go in 29. My bad. Okay, so think about this. God's having a conversation with Moses right now, right? Now, you have to think about Moses, right? And what Moses endured, Moses fought with Pharaoh. He didn't physically fight, but he went back and forth with Pharaoh each time, delivering the message from God. Moses led the people out of Egypt, out of under Egyptian rule, right? Moses crossed the Red Sea with the people, like Moses was in the wilderness, right? Right. So Moses has a great resume of submission, right? But here's where, to me, this was Moses' greatest task right here, because in Deuteronomy 3:26 through 28, God told Moses, essentially, you will never go into the promised land, right? You will never see the promised land. You disobeyed me, you will never see the promised land. And then he gives Moses a new purpose. He said, instead, commission Joshua and encourage and strengthen him. He wants you to now, it's almost like on the job training. You know how, like, if you were about to leave a job and they want you to train your predecessor, most people be like, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to train him and give him the tools and the tips to be better than me. I'm not going to do that. He got to figure it out like I had to figure it out, right? So that was Moses' newfound purpose. And I want you to understand the beauty of that is this: Moses does not die until Deuteronomy 34. So that is Deuteronomy 26 through 28. Moses does not die until Deuteronomy 34. There's a great period of time where Moses is walking in that purpose. It's greater than what he felt. He wasn't about himself. Like, you do realize Moses in that moment could have said, wait a minute, God. Now, after all I've done, after all the submission I've given you, look at my resume. Look at, you've called me to do things. I've delivered. I've dealt with all these people, all this whining and complaining. And now you're going to tell me that I'm not going to see the promised land? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I'm not with that. Right? And then we could have just not heard from Moses anymore. He could have just left if he would have allowed his personal feelings to be above purpose. If he would have allowed his personal satisfaction to be above purpose. I'm talking to people who have made a decision that my purpose is greater than anything else. My purpose is greater than any relationship. My purpose is greater than any job. My purpose is greater. Moses was in full submission. Okay, I'm sure he didn't like it, but we saw that Moses did just what God called him to do, right? Just what God called him to do. The purpose was bigger than him. It was bigger than his feelings, bigger than his desires. Here's the question I want to ask you. Do you respect God's purpose to that level in which you will serve when you don't feel like it? You will serve when your purpose doesn't seem to serve you in your eyes. Will you still serve your purpose? When the purpose doesn't seem like it's beneficial to you, will you still serve your purpose? Okay. Let's look at this. Let's look at Luke 13:31 through 33. Luke 13:31 through 33. Let's get to it. All right. Luke 13. It's so hard to flip these pages. I cut my thumb yesterday cooking, and like not having that grip when I'm flipping through the Bible is like crazy work. All right. So here we go. Luke 13:31 through 33. Here we go. Now, mine, of course, is in red. I always show you guys. It's in red, so you guys know exactly who's talking when you see the text in red, all right? So Luke 13:31 through 33. At that time, some of the Pharisees said to him, get away from here if you want to live. Herod Antipas wants to kill you. Jesus replied, go tell that fox I will keep on casting out demons and healing people today and tomorrow and the third day. I will accomplish my purpose. Think about that. Jesus received a very direct threat on his life. And he said, my purpose is greater than this threat. My purpose is greater than the fear of your threat. My purpose is greater than losing a job. My purpose is greater than losing a certain set of friends. My purpose is greater than not being welcomed in a certain group or a certain setting. My purpose has to be greater. Yo, we were called to serve God, not called to serve ourselves. Not called to be here to make ourselves feel good, to do things that make us feel good, to gain these titles that make us feel good, to gain wealth that makes us feel good. That is not why we were created. We were created for purpose, for God's purpose. So in this moment, Jesus said, listen, I will accomplish my purpose. I'm not willing to let your little idle threats run me away. I'm going to complete what I have to do. Verse 33, he says, yes, today and tomorrow and the next day, I must proceed on my way, for it wouldn't do a prophet of God to be killed except in Jerusalem. So you got to think about like the level of which the example that is being set for us. There are some times where your purpose will cause you to run head on with adversity. Your purpose will cause you to meet a problem. And which will win? Will you stay submitted to the purpose, or will you concede to the problem and say, man, I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to fight that battle. Yeah, I was with y'all, rah, 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 until it got ugly. And when it got ugly and when it got rough, I said, oh, no, wait a minute. I'm good on that. No, purpose has to supersede our feelings. Purpose has to supersede what you feel like. Purpose has to supersede what others think. Bro, it doesn't matter to me what others think. It only matters to me what God thinks. It only matters to me what God has called me to do. I'm not here for anybody else unless God says, hey, be concerned about that. Then I'm concerned about it. If God didn't ask me to, I'm not concerned about it. That's just it. Listen, we have got to focus on purpose. That's why we're here. You are a purpose people. You're called for a purpose, a very specific purpose. Think about it like this, all right? So everybody has a phone, right? And if you don't have an iPhone, you need to upgrade and get an iPhone. Let those Androids go. You need to be delivered. I speak deliverance over your life from that Android mentality. Come on over to this iPhone land, right? So listen, the iPhones, they will often, Apple will send out updates, right? They will send us updates. And I don't know how in depth you are, but like they will send you essentially what the update does, right? So it'll tell you the update fixes this bug, this bug, this bug. It also introduces this new thing and this new thing. Do you want to install the update, right? You have to give it permission. Do you want to install the update? And then there are certain external factors that are required for the update to take place. Your phone has to be charged to a certain level, right? You have to be on Wi-Fi. You know what I mean? I don't know. I know those two off the top of my head. Like those are two extra. And I think sometimes it'll tell you your phone needs to be plugged into a charger while it's being updated. I don't know if it still does that. But anyway, right? So these things are required for the new update to take place. Now, let me ask you a question. I've been around people that will say, I don't want to update my phone. It's like, why? Well, I've already gotten comfortable with the way my phone is set up right now. I've already gotten comfortable with the way it functions and it moves right now. So I don't want to do a new update because the new update is going to change some things and it's going to make me have to relearn some things. And I don't want to do that. So I'll just rather stay on the old outdated software rather than upgrade over here. That is crazy. But the bigger part about that is exactly how we approach God. See, oftentimes our purpose calls us to upgrade. Our purpose calls us to upgrade in life. Your purpose may cause you to upgrade in your surroundings. Well, when I'm upgrading my surroundings, that means I'm no longer able to be comfortable. I was comfortable over there. Now this upgrade is going to put me in new territory. You can't ask God to enlarge your territory. And when he takes you to new territory, larger territory, you want to reject it because you're not comfortable. Y'all don't like it. Okay, listen. When you go for the upgrade, when you are upgrading, you are going to have to separate from some people because they're on the old software. They over there on the old software, and I can't upgrade you. I'm sorry. That's God's got to upgrade you. I have to function when my phone says it's time to update. Like you may get software update before somebody else does. And it's like, oh yeah, did you get the new upgrade? They be like, oh no, I ain't get it yet. I don't know why I can't function on that. Like maybe, and I know sometimes it'll be like Jordan told me, like sometimes you won't have enough memory. And so you can't get the upgrade because you don't have enough memory, right? So I can't get into the reasons why it's not your season for upgrade. But when it's my turn to upgrade, I'm going to accept the upgrade. God, my purpose is an upgrade. I'm moving into it. My purpose is an upgrade. I don't care about not being comfortable. I accept the upgrade. So you have to think about it. Everybody that you read about in the Bible, they were called, they were upgraded, they were called from somewhere they were to a new place, to a new assignment. They were upgraded. They didn't have time to just say, man, I'm going to just stay right here. Let me just keep the old outdated software. No, no, no. Update. Do not reject the upgrade. Purpose will often call for submission, which is shown in a new setup, a change in surroundings, a change in friends, a change in your comfort zone. Do not reject the upgrade due to a lack of submission. I need you to understand this. God's goodness is literally waiting for you on the other side of your submission. I'll say it again. God's goodness is literally waiting for you on the other side of your submission. Submission to what, George? The upgrade. Submission to what, George? The purpose. Submission to what, George? The call. The call. Submission. God is literally waiting for you on the other side of your submission. Your ability to yield to your true purpose, not the purpose that you created, not the purpose that you said is good for you, your true purpose, God-given purpose. All right. I can't stay there too long. There's so much I want to do in there. Okay, Luke 14, 7 through 11. This one right here. Listen, Luke 14, 7 through 11. Luke 14, 7 through 11. When Jesus noticed that all who had come to dinner were trying to sit in the seats of honor near the head of the table, he gave them this advice. When you're invited to a wedding feast, do not sit in the seat of honor. What if someone who is more distinguished than you has also been invited? The host will come and say, give this person your seat. Then you will be embarrassed and you will have to take whatever seat is left at the foot of the table. Instead, take the lowest place at the foot of the table. Then when your host sees you, he will come to you and say, friend, we have a better place for you. We have an upgrade for you. Friend, we have an upgrade for you. But you couldn't see the upgrade when you were focused on titles. You couldn't see the upgrade when you walked in and you were trying to let people recognize the status that you thought you had. Baby, I don't care about status. I care about purpose. Jesus is trying to teach a message. He said, then you will be honored in front of other guests. For those who exalt themselves will be humbled, and those who humble themselves will be exalted. Jesus is teaching about submitting yourself to purpose. Don't get caught up in titles. Don't get caught up in the group of friends that you hang around. Don't get caught up. Y'all remember those days in high school where you roll with the popular crew and you feel good because you're in the popular crew, right? And you kind of thumb your nose at others because you're in the popular crew. Jesus said, I don't care about that. I just care about people that are called to serve. And your service is what will upgrade you. He said, then you will be honored in front of all guests. Then comes after your submission. After your submission. Your breakthrough is often tied up to your ability to submit to purpose. I just got to keep saying that, right? Like you pray for breakthrough, you pray for increase, but you don't want to submit. You pray for breakthrough, you pray for answers, but you don't want to submit. Purpose calls for submission. You don't get purpose without submission. Joshua 3, verse 7. Joshua 3, verse 7. I got to read to you guys for a little bit on this one, okay? So just bear with me. Joshua 3, verse 7. I'm going to read to 17. All right. Joshua 3, verse 7 through 17. The Lord told Joshua, today I will begin to make you a leader, a great leader in the eyes of all the Israelites. Now pause, listen to this. Today I will begin to make you a great leader in the eyes of all the Israelites. Let me help you understand this right here. What is this saying to me? You don't choose when the upgrade happens. God upgrades you based on your submission. God upgrades you based on what you've shown. He told Joshua, today I will begin to make a great leader in the eyes of all the Israelites. He picked the time, not you. Joshua may have wanted the upgrade to happen prior to. God told him exactly when. God knows when it's time for you to upgrade. He's gauging your submission. What am I submitting to, George? Submitted church, faithful at church. I submit to an auxiliary. I serve in an auxiliary. I submit in prayer. I submit my mind and my body and my thoughts to God. I'm giving time to God throughout the day. It's not just my interaction. It isn't just when I go to church on a Sunday. And it's not just when I hop on a live Monday through Friday. My submission, God, I have such a relationship with you on my own. God, I'm submitted to you. I'm submitted to you. They will know that I am with you, just as I was with Moses. Give this command to the priests who carry the ark of the covenant. When you reach the banks of the Jordan River, take a few steps into the river and stop there. So Joshua told the Israelites, come and listen to what the Lord your God says. Today you will know that the living God is among you. He will surely drive out the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Hivites, the Perizzites, the Girgashites, the Amorites, and the Jebusites ahead of you. Look, the ark of the covenant, which belongs to the Lord of the whole earth, will lead you across the Jordan River. Now, let me tell you something that's wild in purpose. Sometimes you got to think about it. Your purpose is not going to make sense to you with your human mind. The purpose, what God instructs you to do, what God calls you to do, won't always make sense in the moment. The Ark of the Covenant is going to lead us across the Jordan River. That doesn't make sense. The Ark of the Covenant doesn't have legs. The Ark of the Covenant doesn't talk. Purpose, baby. Your job is to just submit and do. Just submit and do. Because watch, what did I tell you? Your breakthrough is tied to your submission. Your breakthrough is often on the other side of your ability to submit. Let me show you, because you may have thought I was lying. I got you. Now choose 12 men from the tribes of Israel, one of each tribe. The priests will carry the ark of the Lord of all the earth. As soon as their feet touch the water, the flow of the water will be cut off upstream and the river will stand up like a wall. See, we only function on the Red Sea. That was not the only time that God did this. Sometimes you just got to think about his power. Sometimes you got to pause and have reverence for his power. If you had more reverence for his power, you wouldn't doubt the purpose that he called you to. If you had more reverence for his power, you would not doubt the purpose that he's called you to. So the people left their camp to cross the Jordan, and the priests were carrying the Ark of the Covenant went ahead of them. It was harvest season, and the Jordan was overflowing its banks. So you got to think about it. Like, I think that that's in the text so you can understand the physical view of the people. When they saw the Jordan River, they said it was harvest season. So the banks were overflowing. So you mean to tell me not only is this water that we're going to cross, but it is now overflowing. We can't even see the bottom. And you saying we're going to cross there? Yes, submit to purpose. Don't worry about personal feelings. Submit to purpose. But as soon as the feet of the priests who were carrying the ark touched the water of the river's edge, the water above that point began backing up. I want you to understand how powerful my God, because I don't know, my God, I'm going to just talk about my God. I don't know about your God, but my God. It says as soon as the feet touched it, guess what had to happen first? Obedience had to happen first. Submission to the purpose had to happen first. The water didn't draw back before they got there. God needed them to see what happens as a result of your obedience. See, there are things that you are believing for in your life that you will not see change until you change your ability to be obedient. That's why God says you got to die to self every day. It's not about you. It's not about what you want. It's not about what you feel like. It is about purpose. God knows you're tired. God knows you're tired. God knows that you are tired. Stay submitted to the purpose. Stay submitted to the purpose. That is a part of it. Oh man, but as soon as the feet of the priests who were carrying the ark touched the water at the river's edge, the water above that point began backing up a great distance away to a town called Adam, which is near Zarethan. And the water below that point flowed onto the Dead Sea until the riverbed was dry. Then all the people crossed over near the town of Jericho. Meanwhile, the priests who were carrying the ark of the Lord's covenant stood on dry ground in the middle of a riverbed. As people passed by, they waited there until the whole nation of Israel had crossed the Jordan on dry ground. God says, listen, I need you to understand how powerful I am. Not only did I cause this water to just stop, it's going to go backwards. Water in a river flows one way. God says, I don't have to abide by the standards and the physics of this world because I'm God. So if I want to cause water to go backwards upstream the way that it doesn't flow because I'm God and I said it has to, it will. See, you keep looking for God in certain situations. God says, baby, I got my part. I got me. You just submit. But listen, because see, here's what happens in purpose. See, sometimes you do purpose, and purpose isn't necessarily for you. Like you being obedient in purpose over here will give you deliverance in another area over there that you can't see. You say, how do you know that, George? I'm going to tell you because I like to read. And I'm going to jump on to Joshua 5:1. When all of the Amorite kings west of the Jordan and all of the Canaanite kings who lived along the Mediterranean coast heard how the Lord had dried up the Jordan River so the people of Israel could cross, they lost their heart and were paralyzed with fear because of them. Why were they paralyzed with fear? Because they had just seen people walk in purpose. Like, I need you to understand what other battles are being fought, what problems in your life are being solved due to your submission to purpose in one area of your life. It's not just for that area. You are also getting deliverance in another area that you can't even see right now. Simply because you are obedient. Is it always easy to be obedient? No. Because you look at the world and the way the world is set up and the way things function, you think it's supposed to happen a certain way. And oftentimes, purpose will cause you to flow a different direction. But God says, listen, I just need you to trust me. I just need you to trust me. Okay. Like, y'all, do y'all read? Do you actually like sit in here and read? Let me give you one more thing. What time is it? Okay. I want to give you two things. All right. I'm going to have to cut this short, but I'm going to give you two things. All right. Joshua 6, verse 3-5. All right. Joshua 6, verse 3-5. You and your fighting men should march around the town once a day for 6 days. 7 priests will walk ahead of the ark, each carrying a ram's horn. On the 7th day, you are to march around the town 7 times, with the priests blowing the horns. When you hear the priests give one long blast on the ram's horns, have all the people shout as loud as they can. Then the walls of the town will collapse, and the people can charge right in the town. You know we're talking about Jericho. Now, let me ask y'all a question. How crazy does this sound to you? How crazy does that sound to say, like, this fortified town is going to fall simply because we walked around? See, it doesn't make sense in the natural sense. It doesn't make sense. And I'm telling you, trust your purpose more than you trust your brain, because your brain is going to tell you that ain't going to work like that. That's not going to work. It's not designed to work like that. And God is saying, how can you tell the designer? How can you tell the designer how something works? I'm the designer. Okay, listen. So let's get this real quick. Okay, jump to verse 8. After Joshua spoke to the people, 7 priests with the ram's horn started marching in the presence of the Lord, blowing the horns as they marched. Now, let me ask you a question. Why were they marching? How do we know, or where do we get this notion that they were marching in the presence of the Lord? Because they were walking in obedience. They were walking in purpose. The presence of the Lord is in your purpose. So I said they were walking in the presence of the Lord. They were walking in purpose. They were walking in obedience. Okay, verse 10. Think about this. Verse 10. Do not shout. Don't even talk, Joshua commanded. Not a single word from any of you until I tell you to shout. Then shout. Again, this don't make sense. You want us to just walk around this town quietly? We can't say nothing? Like, first of all, that's boring. Second of all, that's boring. Third of all, it doesn't make any sense to me. Why do I have to be? What is me being quiet? I'm already marching around the wall. That's already what you asked us to do, march around this town. Now I got to be quiet. That's what I'm trying to tell you, beloved. Your purpose will call you to do things that don't make sense. But you've got to trust the calling. It don't make sense. It's hard. Yes, it's hard. Yes, it doesn't make sense. Yes, it doesn't go together. Yes, it doesn't align with what you wanted to do. But purpose is greater than you. That's where we started. Purpose is greater than your personal thoughts and desires. Okay, verse 15 through 16. Look at this. On the seventh day, the Israelites got up at dawn and marched around the town as they had done before. But this time, they went around the town 7 times. The seventh time around, as the priest sounded the long blast on their horn, Joshua commanded the people, shout, for the Lord God has given you this town. God just wanted to see them walk in obedience. He gave them clear instruction. Do this on this day, do this on this day, do this on this day. See, by the third day, most of us would have got tired because we wouldn't have seen any change. We would have been looking for change. God, let me see a crack in the wall or something. Let me see that the wall, let me feel a little shake or something to know that I'm walking around the wall, and me walking around the wall is doing something. Listen, your obedience is doing everything. You don't need anything else. You don't need a sign. God, give me a sign. No, let me just be, I'm in obedience. That's the sign. God gave me clear instruction. I'm walking in obedience, and I will keep walking in obedience until he tells me something else. That is immaturity when you're always looking for a sign. God, give me a sign to know it's you. You heard my voice. That's how you know it's me. That's how you know it's me. You prayed and I told you. That's how you know it's me. You don't need another sign. Go off my voice. Learn to go off my voice. See, when you know your father, I asked y'all about that on Resurrection Sunday. Do you really know who your father is? Because if you know who your father is, then you know his voice. And when he talks, my dad can say something right now. I know his voice. I know when my mom talks in a crowd of people. I know my mom's voice. I can go in a gymnasium full of people and I can close my eyes and find my mom because I know her voice. I've been around her. Listen, I'm 36 years old. I've been hearing my mom's voice since I was a seed in her stomach. I know her voice. I respond to it. When you know your father's voice, you respond to it. You don't need anything else other than a word. If my mom calls me right now, I'm moving. Why? Because she called me and I know her voice. She called. God only needs your obedience to destroy some of the greatest obstacles in your life, some of your biggest pitfalls, some of the things that you're carrying, that you're waiting to get over, that you're trying to get through, that you're trying to let go of. God only needs your obedience. God is only looking for your obedience. So I just need you to be obedient. Like, do you understand that God's ultimate purpose is to be your friend, to have a great relationship with you? He wants to be your friend. So how do you keep telling your friend no? How do you keep telling your friend who wants to do for you no? How do you keep telling your friend who's like, I just want the best for you? No, I want to keep making my way hard. I don't want to submit to you. I don't want to listen to you. What? Yo, come on. The time for that is gone. The time for that is gone. I'm going to say this to you. You can't define purpose until you can show knowledge past this minute and this second of this day. I'm going to say it again. You cannot define your purpose until you can show knowledge past this minute and past this second, this minute of this day. If you cannot show knowledge past that, you can't dictate purpose because you don't know what tomorrow brings. So you can't tell me, I feel like my purpose is this. If your statement starts with, I feel like, you're already wrong. Because what you feel and what God is saying, they don't always align. So your purpose is, God told me to do this. And signs and wonders follow you walking in purpose. I don't need a sign to show me. The sign is going to follow me walking in purpose. See, the sign for the children of Israel as Joshua was leading them, the sign was, God said, I'm about to show them today. I'm about to show them today. The sign followed obedience. He gave Joshua instruction. Joshua gave the people instruction. They began to move in obedience. Bigger than that, they moved in purpose, and the signs followed purpose. The river began to dry up. Okay, 2 scriptures, 3, like real quick. And this is just, they're really short. Okay, listen. Psalms 147:5. Psalms 147, verse 5. How great is our Lord? His power is absolute. His understanding is beyond comprehension. This is why you submit to his purpose and not your own. His Understanding is beyond comprehension. His power is absolute. I'm not submitting to my purpose. I'm not trying to create purpose. I'm following him. Okay, I got you. Psalms 139 and 4. Psalms 139, verse 4. You know what I'm going to say even before I say it, Lord. He's showing you he's a supreme being. You know what I'm going to say even before I say it. Until you have that level of knowledge, you cannot dictate purpose. Last but not least, Isaiah 46:10. Y'all have heard this before, I'm sure. Isaiah 46:10. Only I can tell you the future before it even happens. Everything I plan will come to pass, for I do whatever I wish. I'm going to read it one more time. Isaiah 46:10. Only I can tell the future. So that is why you can't tell God what your purpose is, because you don't know the future. You can't dictate future. So you can't tell what purpose is. You receive instruction from him and you walk in that. Only I can tell you the future before it even happens. Everything I plan will come to pass, which means God is a planner. God is not asking you to do something that he didn't already walk out the steps. God is a planner. As if he needs to justify his resume, he still did it. I'm a planner. Everything I plan will come to pass. Last but not least, and this is what you need to stand on in your prayer time, because the word says, for I do whatever I wish. I'm not bound by human authority. I'm not bound by physics. I'm not bound by natural law. I'm not bound by that. I do whatever. So I'm telling you, I say it in my prayer time all the time. I say, God, you are a whatever God. And I submit. God, you are a whatever God, and I submit to your will. You're a whatever God. You do whatever you desire. You do whatever you want. God, you are whatever God. And I promise you, I just submit my life to you. Just have your way with me. You're a whatever God. Why are we afraid or bound by situations? Why do we let situations mess with our emotions? Why do we let people get us in certain places? You serve a whatever God. God does whatever he desires. There's not a situation, there's not a circumstance that he can't deliver you from, that he hasn't already delivered you from. He's just waiting on you to walk in purpose. He's just waiting on you to submit. He's a whatever God. He's a whatever God. God, I just thank you for being whatever God. And I thank you for your power. Listen, I appreciate you guys tuning in today. I hope you guys have a phenomenal week. And listen, I don't care what yesterday was for you. Today's a new day. Submit to purpose. Today's a new day. Walk in obedience. Today is a new day. God, I trust you. Today's a new day. God, I'm in full submission to you. I don't care what others say. I'm in full submission of you. I don't care what they think. I'm in full submission of you. I'm in full submission because you serve a whatever God. All right. Y'all be blessed and have an amazing week, man. I love y'all